ever saw Ian Carroll, I thought this guy is very talented. He's great. He's going places. He's going to be a big deal. I just sensed an extreme amount of charisma, talent, and also hard work from the guy. So on the Joe Rogan thing, first of all, them calling you a grifter is completely ridiculous because, or Joe Rogan saying grifter, more to the point, but then saying, oh, well, not David, but you bring it up when David's name's in the room. How can you be a grifter when you're not grifting? It's like you're going against all of the current grifts. So there's no money in disagreeing with Elon. There's no money in disagreeing with Trump. There's no money in disagreeing with Alex. There's no money in saying you don't follow any religion. There's no money being against all war. So what is the grift, people? But that said, what was Ian Carroll said that you had called him out or that you had started a beef with him? What was your beef with him? And then how do you respond to the things that Joe Rogan and he said about you?
Well, you know, my beef was that he was saying things, but missing out crucial bits of it. You know, he was,
for example,
he was also repeating stuff that's been around for a long time, as if it was somehow revelatory, you know.
Well, to be fair, he does admit that. He admits that I mean, personally, I think he's a younger guy that's in the TikTok world. He realizes that nobody's going to get this stuff until you package it into a 3-minute little clicky video. He knows the language of the kids. He speaks it fluently. And he's become hyper successful, but I don't think he's ever really gone around claiming that he doesn't stand on the shoulders. But go ahead.
Yeah, but the thing is that people will have to look at people like Ian Carroll and make a decision, make a judgment on whether they should be skeptical about what's happening or whether they should just say, okay, he's all right. And the thing is that he is loved by the algorithm. I mean, he didn't even go on Twitter until 2023. He's loved by the algorithm, and that's a bit of a red flag because those that are really challenging the system are not loved by the algorithm. And he gets tremendous promotion. You know, people like Mike Flynn love him. And he gets on the Rogan show and gets massive promotion as a result of that. And people coming out and, you know, within the alternative media mainstream saying how wonderful he is and all that stuff. And you think, well, what's going on? I mean, I've been doing this for 35 years, just coming into the 36th. I've been researching it full time in that period. I've been to nearly, well, if not more than 60 countries doing the research. And I've never been on the Rogan show.
That makes no sense. I mean, but that is not necessarily Ian's fault. I really think people are drawn to Ian.
No, I'm not saying it's Ian's fault. What I'm saying is that he's had tremendous promotion. And people like Whitney Webb, who does very, very detailed research into this AI and into this whole reality of pushing the AI agenda. And she's never been on the Rogan show. But Rogan has had Peter Thiel on and given him a soft interview, who is orchestrating the AI. He's had Mark Andreessen on, who's doing the same. He's had Musk on, softball interviews. And then just before the election, he has Trump on and gives him a softball interview and allows him to lie through his teeth without being challenged. Like he said, he never said, hey, jail Hillary. He never was supported that. Well, actually, the videos exist to show that he did. And why aren't you calling that out, Joe Rogan? And it is a guy who is in any way a threat.
And not only that, he had another guy on. When I was researching the show, I was just looking up like David Icke reptilian stuff because I wanted to really get down what you thought about that. But it ended up Joe Rogan has other guys on there talking about reptilians, and they're like totally not even close to as OG as you are, the originator of this entire theory, and someone who in the alternative media landscape, it's becoming kind of glaringly obvious, Joe. Like if you're not gonna talk to one particular person, like, and you're just gonna like write him off, even though he was against COVID before you were. He was realizing what was going on with Israel before you were. He was talking about mind control and AI before you were, and you're not going to bring him on. Why? Weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the point I've been making. It's not that I want to be on the Rogan show.
Well, you should be.
Yeah, well, I should be on the basis of journalism, but it's not something that I want to be on the Rogan show because then everyone will see me. I'm just asking a simple journalistic question of why I haven't been, given my history, when so many other people have, many of whom are pushing the very agenda I'm challenging. My point about the whole Ian Carroll situation is that he has been on the Rogan show, having, by his own admission, been involved in this for, compared with me, 5 minutes, and yet I'm not allowed on. And the other thing that was kind of a bit of a head shaker is when Ian Carroll said on the Rogan interview, basically, David Icke, oh yeah, it's all the reptiles. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's an element of it. And all the other stuff that I've talked about over 35 years and written about in the books, he's kind of dismissed by this kid who's been around 5 minutes as, oh, he just says it's all the reptiles. And then you've got Rogan, not just in this incident either, but with when he had Russell Brand on and what have you, is he just writes off the whole reptilian thing. And me as a result of that, when I've been researching this since the mid 1990s. I've been following modern and ancient accounts of these entities and how they weave their way through history and weave their way through cultures. I've talked to whistleblowers in the military who've experienced face-to-face these entities in the underground bases. On and on and on and on it goes. And it's dismissed as, oh, he says it's all the reptiles. It's just, what
is your magnum opus book on the reptiles? If Ian Carroll was to try and come up to speed on that and actually look into it and research it and not poo-poo the concept, what would be the book that he would look into?
Well, I mean, my early book was The Biggest Secret. That came out in 1998. Then I followed it up with another one called Children of the Matrix in 2001. But the compendium book that pulls it all together, all the elements that I talk about, which that is a part, not the whole, is everything you need to know but have never been told. He would probably learn a lot if he read that. I'm sure he hasn't.
I honestly think Ian is. I think he's innocent of this situation. I mean, I don't know if you know who I am, David. Did you ever know who I was before with this interview?
No.
You never saw my Hail Fauci speech when I called out the vaccine passport during COVID lockdowns?
Well, I probably did.
Yeah. Your son wanted to be in a band with me at the time. He said,
"Oh, right, okay, well, you must be good then."
Yeah. So, well, yeah, I was yelling and screaming at these bastards that were trying to put the vaccine passport in. If I show you the clip, you'll probably guarantee remember it because you were in the scene. But so okay. I did that. It went viral. It was literally on Colbert Report. It was on Trevor Noah. I won awards for being the biggest lunatic. I'm right up there with you, right?
Oh, I was
like, yes, well, I'm the number one lunatic.
No,
I wanted to win, dude. They're like, who's the biggest lunatic? I'm like, please, I want to win. If I'm going to be on the list, I want to be the top lunatic, right?
Yeah.
So. But after that, Alex Jones' crew reached out to me. I was on Alex Jones, and then I was on, Stu Peters, and I was on all these other networks. And the TV was doing stuff about it. Saturday Night Live even did a skit about it. I mean, Snoop Dogg talked about it. And I can tell you, I am not juiced in. I've never made a penny out of any of this stuff. but sometimes something just flourishes and there's a star power to people. Personally, I think, no offense, when Alex Jones, who just had Ian Carroll on, he knows Ian Carroll has a massive following of young people. And it's not that he's necessarily doing Ian Carroll a favor. He's trying to suck their audience over their way. So I think Ian Carroll, I really believe he is a very charismatic person. He knows how to put these things together. He admits he's not that big of a genius of it all. He always says, I'm just a dude, but he hits, he connects. And I really think the connection is real. So I would hope that you guys could squash the problem. As for Joe Rogan, dude, what are you doing? Where the hell why is David not on? If Joe requested you be on, would you be on at this point? Would you even do it?
I'd go on, but I mean, you've got to ask me first, and he's also got to explain why we're decades on from his podcast, and he's never he's never asked. Not only that, I've met one or two people that's been on his show over the years, and they've said, "Have you never been on?" I know. That's ridiculous. I'll contact him. And then when I pointed this out maybe a couple of years ago, this is a bit strange, isn't it? Because he was starting to have people on talking about COVID who bought the COVID hoax, extraordinary. People like Brett Weinstein. So someone contacted us and said, I know the Rogan people. I'll give them a call. This is ridiculous. I never heard another thing. So there's a reason. I'd like to know what it is. That A, he dismisses me whenever my name comes up, and B, has never asked me on, because I've done 35 years of research across a vast wave of range of subjects, and people who've been around for 5 minutes are suddenly on. People who are part of the agenda are given softball interviews. So why wouldn't someone like me be asking the questions, what's going on?
It makes no sense.
In terms of Ian Carroll, it's not that, he put out a strange thing the other day after the Rogan interview where he said, David Icke hates me. I don't hate him. I don't hate anybody.
I don't know. He said you were calling him out or something, that you were going.
I was pointing out that he was supporting the election of Trump and then complaining about what Trump was doing. He was saying that what Israel is doing is diabolical and all the rest of it, while supporting a guy who is owned by Israel. Donald Trump.
Well, you do realize he was originally for RFK, and he was actually part of the whole RFK thing, and he was pushing for, against the vaccines and all this type of stuff. And that, I don't know, maybe it was all part of the master plan. The RFK was there to bring in that to basically, they saw people like me who were anti-vax and all that we were like, oh, well, RFK's good. And when he brought RFK in, he knew now. But I don't think Ian Carroll was like read into that level of it. I honestly believe that people, including myself, when they see Ian Carroll, they right away go, this guy is charismatic, he's interesting, he's funny, and they're drawn to him one way or another. But
the point being that none of us should complain about being questioned when we're telling people to question everything,
right?
And it's up to people to make their own judgments, not just on what's gone so far, but what's going to go on from here on. But if you are calling out Israel, which he wasn't doing for a long time.
Oh, he's been pretty hard on Israel.
In recent times, yes. But at the same time, supporting a guy who's owned by Israel and is giving Israel everything it wants, who is taking off all limitations on weapons being given to Israel. And that's a contradiction. And that should be open to being called out. But I don't hate the guy. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I'd love to see you guys on together. I'd love to see him pick up one of your books and do a breakdown of your theories on there. And hopefully he wouldn't be offended if he did it. I contact him sometimes.
I wouldn't be offended, but nor would it impact on me greatly, to be honest.
I just think it's interesting because he's like a gateway drug for kids. That the thing with the awakening, as you call it, is, and there is the go here and not so much further, but in reality, it ignites a passion.
I have children and I have grandchildren, and they're going to have to. And then I look at all the other kids and grandkids, and that's what drives me on. I'm coming up to my 73rd birthday. I could be retired and walked away. I don't have to take this shit and this abuse. But I take it and I do it despite it, because I can see the kind of world that my kids and grandkids and other people's kids and grandkids are going to have to live in. And not just them too, but the vast majority of people that are still alive today are going to have to experience that world. And I don't want it to happen. I could walk away and leave them to it. I mean, how long have I got? 5 minutes or 10 years? I don't know. We'll see, but I could walk away now. I don't have to take this. I do, because I don't want people to live in a world that I know is coming unless we wake up fast to the greater picture and break out of this myopia that we've been manipulated into. Done this 3.5 decades of full-time research. And then you look around and you see the algorithms massively promoting some people who are new to it often and have done a fraction of the research. And you see them, all the promotion they get. And you obviously you question, well, from a journalistic point of view, surely you'd say, well, this guy's been doing it for 35 years. Let's see what this guy's got to say. Let's just at least find out if he's got any other angles on what's going on. But they don't. And it's, because, I see these people in the mainstream alternative media, and me and Carol's part of the mainstream alternative media now. And they're not banned from anywhere. Far from that, they are massively algorithmically promoted. And I'm sitting here banned from nearly 30 European countries. I've been banned from them for 2 years. I've now had it extended another 2 years because, quote, I've not changed my views. I'm banned from Australia. I had my YouTube channel taken down the moment I started calling the COVID hoax down out in 2020.
I couldn't get this to upload. I've done it through YouTube before, and it would not let me do it. I couldn't get it to go through.
So the question is, why is that? Why am I, who's not kind of promoted at the mainstream of the alternative media? Why am I banned from all these places and all these platforms when they're not? Could it be that I'm saying something that is beyond what they're saying, and thus something that they absolutely, when I say they, I mean the cult, absolutely doesn't want circulating? When you mentioned earlier how Rogan had people on, I don't know, a month, 6 weeks ago. There was two guys. One was a researcher, a UFO researcher, and the other one was I think he was former military insider.
Was that recent? That's when it happened, that recently?
Yeah, it was only about 6 weeks, 2 months ago.
I just saw the clip. I didn't know. I figured it was.
It was that recent. And what they were saying is that when you start talking about the reptilians, everything gets shut down. And from a military point of view and their research point of view, whenever you talk about the reptilians, everything gets shut down.
Yeah, I was saying you could talk about the blonde ones, the gray ones, this
one.
But then if you bring up the reptilians, they're like, nope, 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 nope.
Exactly. And there's Rogan sitting there nodding like a nodding dog, no problem. And and then ridicules me for talking about reptilians. It's what's going on, man?
It is weird, man. It is weird because I'm like not like super into the reptilian thing, but they say, you know, you know who rules over you when that's the people you can't talk about.
Yeah,